Many employers may understand that partner violence is costly to society and to the economy, yet because it often happens off the job, there may also be a sense that it's not part of an employer's job to do anything about it. Yet the reality is partner violence drives up healthcare costs, undermines productivity, and in the worst cases can bring actual violence into the workplace. A nonprofit here in our region is on the cutting edge nationwide in putting this issue front and center as a business issue and giving employers the tools they need to do something about it. The organization is called Standing Firm, and Patricia Cluss is the director.
Well,
welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm pleased to be here.
Yeah, a little bit about Standing Firm first, because this really is unique. What's being pioneered here in our region on this issue?
It is. There's only one or two other places in the country besides Pittsburgh who have organizations specifically addressing the business community and helping the business community understand the costs to them of this issue. So we're pleased to be on the forefront of that here in Pittsburgh.
So you're actually working with the employers as opposed to the victims?
That is correct. We don't provide direct service to victims. The reason for that is we have many wonderful organizations here in our region who do an excellent job of doing that. So our clients really are employers, business leaders, CEOs, presidents, senior VPs of HR, owners of small businesses, and working with them to help them make changes in their organizations to reduce costs, improve safety, and increase the health and well-being of their workforce.
And how did this come about in the first place?
Well, actually, I was approached about 8 or 9 years ago now by the leaders of a number of foundations in town who work with women and girls who were aware of what I just said, that we have lots of great services for victims here, but really the business community was not paying attention to it. And they asked me, I was recently retired from Pitt where I was a researcher, and they knew I had an interest in what we call partner violence, more frequently known as domestic violence, and asked me if I'd be interested in starting an initiative that later became known as Standing Firm.
You put a big focus and put a lot of attention onto this issue with your event on October 22nd, and you really recognized a couple of the real leaders in the community that have been doing something about it.
That is correct. Our two awardees this year are the Pittsburgh Technology Council, Audrey Russo, CEO of the Tech Council, that organization has been doing a lot of work in the tech industry to help them understand how this is an issue that relates to them as an industry. And our Standing Firm Champion Award this year, awardee this year, is Christy Troutman, the Executive Director of the FISA Foundation in town, who has really been a leader in all aspects of regional life in addressing domestic violence, partner violence, not only as a business issue, but as an issue for men and boys to pay attention to, for organizations to pay attention to make ours a healthier region in many ways.
And how should employers approach this issue? Because I think, as I said in the intro, there's this sense, though, this is an off-the-job thing, not my job, not my responsibility. Keep it away from the workplace.
Exactly. That's actually one reason why we call it partner violence, because the word domestic implies what you just said, incorrectly implies that it's something that happens at home and stays at home. Let me start by saying what employers absolutely shouldn't do. They absolutely shouldn't try to counsel or provide, functional help with regard to a person's personal life. The reason they shouldn't do that is because they have no idea actually how to do that well, and probably won't do it well, and we have many organizations that do. But what companies can do is, for example, have a policy. Most companies these days have workplace violence policies. Most of those do not say anything about how partner violence comes into the workplace, despite the fact that about 25% of all workplace violence events in the United States every year are related to partner violence.
Wow.
It's an estranged partner coming to the workplace, perhaps because his victim has left him and he doesn't know where she lives. I use he, purposefully, although sometimes men are victims as well. But the perpetrator doesn't know where the victim lives anymore, but they know what shift she works and where that is. So it's a very expensive proposition, both in terms of safety as well as costs related to that.
So it really starts with a policy, I guess, and getting your arms around that. Right. I'm sure there's lots of other steps. Right. You must have a website where people can really get a lot more information and do programming for employers as well?
Yes, we do training training, we do consultation and other kinds of services to help them take appropriate steps in their organization. Our website is www.standingfirm, SWPA for Southwestern Pennsylvania, .org, and you can find out how to join Standing Firm. It's free. You can see what resources we have there. You can see what the business case is for deciding to pay attention to this as a business leader.
Well, it's an important issue. It's a costly issue, and it's really terrific to see our region being a real leader.
Well, we are a leader, and Pittsburgh, the Southwestern Pennsylvania region is getting a lot of accolades actually for stepping up to the plate and paying attention to this as a business issue.
All right, Pat Cluss from Standing Firm. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
And we'll be back in a minute with a little dollars and cents. Stay with us.